Order! Order in the court! Order!
Boom, Watch Fam.
What is up, Watch Fam? My name is Michael. I am not the curator of the Theo and Harris Watch Shop, but
I am Christian, the curator of the Theo and Harris Watch Shop. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Real quick, before this video starts at all, I'm interrupting myself here. Today, I'm going to try and convince you to put down some serious scratch and buy a $50 G-Shock, specifically the DW5600. I will also accept the Casioak. I will also accept any G-Shock. I just think you should get one. But I will try and convince you later. Anyways, I'm not the curator of the Theo and Harris Watch Shop, but you should definitely check out the watches that went up this week because I changed the way I photograph them. So if you want to see what you think, let me know. Look at the Rolex Buckley. That's the best example. Look at the Rolex Buckley. Also, if you buy that watch, in the notes, say, Michael got me to buy this watch, so that way I can impress my boss. Today's video is about a watch brand that is near and dear to my heart, and also my favorite watch brand. I want to dance around some statements because you'd be surprised, but people get very mad on the internet. So anyways, obviously, Christian is not here, so let's talk about G-Shock, baby. Oh, also, sorry, one more thing. The Finding the Best Watch Collection in New York City, I received more emails than I think have ever been sent on the internet. So I will be trying to respond to you all. Don't worry. But we got some banger collections coming up. Anyways, on that last video, I wore my G-Shock and someone commented, Michael, you sweet man, why are you wearing a G-Shock to a watch meetup? And to that, I have two comments. Well, I have three comments. One, true, I could have worn my Datejust. You are correct. Point two, if watch meetups are anything like the watch meetups that I've been to, everybody is wearing a Rolex, a Grand Seiko, a Patek, an AP, a Cartier. Everybody has amazing watches on, and to me, it's more about the discussions at watch meetups than what people are wearing because, well, maybe that's not probably true. People did trade and look at watches and stuff, but everybody is wearing an incredible watch, and I feel like my 1970s Rolex Datejust would just as easily be walked by as if I'm wearing a G-Shock. And then point three, G-Shocks are just literally incredible. I went through a stage when I was flipping watches for a while to make money for a movie. Every day I was wearing a different Day-Date or Seamaster or Speedmaster or Cartier Tank or AP or whatever it may be. I always had a different watch on and it was great, but it turned into this like weird stage where I was trying to wear watches to impress people. And that's not why I liked watches, so I love wearing all of those watches. But a lot of the times, which we'll get into more, I like to put a watch on that I think looks cool and I don't have to think about it all. I don't know why, I just think that's amazing. But anyways, in short, Mikey Likey G-Shock. Real quick, I'm going to try and pronounce the creator of G-Shock's name correctly. I guarantee you I will not. So feel free to phonetically spell it out in the comments so I can say it correctly. But I tried to find pronunciation guides. I just couldn't find that many. So bear with me, but here we go. Conceptualized in 1981 and made a reality in 1983, the G-Shock was introduced after Kikuo Ibe dropped and broke a pocket watch given to him by his father. Kikuo Ibe. The G-Shock was made around the 1010, 10-year battery life, 10-bar water resistance, and a 10-meter drop limit. So what is that, around 30 feet, maybe a little bit more, this much exactly. And a team called Team Tough was created to build the G-Shock, and they went through almost 200 prototypes and still couldn't figure out how to satisfy all three of the 1010 commandments or rules, which then, this is the most movie thing I've ever heard. Kikuo Ibe was apparently walking by a playground and noticed that a ball with an outer rubber shell meant the inside of the ball wasn't impacted as much. And I'm assuming as he was walking by the playground, he saw the ball bouncing and he was like, and thus this Team Tough, in the most cinematic way possible, probably had the founder bust through the door and be like, outside of the rubber ball does not make the inside of the rubber ball hurt. And then originally G-Shock was like, hey, we should advertise this in the US because people in Japan so far aren't down for it. And they made this commercial where the G-Shock was used as a hockey puck, and basically everybody was like, no, that's not possible.
This G-Shock can take a slap in the face and not even flinch.
Apparently it caused such a ruckus, a news network then said, well, let us try. So they got the watch and they basically redid the commercial, and it did work, and then it was successful. And I don't know why people wouldn't believe that, and the fact that I don't know why people wouldn't believe that, I guess, is a testament to how tough a G-Shock is, because I'm like, yeah, of course that would work. But at the time, that was insane. That's what's so cool. And then a G-Shock didn't go to the moon because going to the moon wasn't cool anymore in the 80s when the G-Shock was released, but it was on NASA's list of watches that are approved for space. So number 2 is, I don't know. I want to talk about the simplicity, but also its complexity. So in theory, this is very simple. It's a watch module with rubber around it, but I don't want to say it's that easy because it's obviously not. If it took a team from Casio called Team Tough that was literally working on this for almost 200 different prototypes, if it took them that long to make it, I'm assuming that it's so good that it looks simple. You know, when you're watching Frank Sinatra live clips and it seems like he's just like not really trying, he's just standing there, he's like, she gets too hungry, and you're like, wow, that's really good, I bet I could do that. That's what I feel like Casio is. It's very simple. Now, what I'm saying is, of course, digital watches have been around for a while, and they're nothing new or anything like that. But what's really cool is, obviously, if you compare it, like I said, to something like the Apple Watch, it doesn't stack up in terms of features, but if you compare it to something like a mechanical watch, it's dead simple. The electronics inside are incredibly simple now, obviously, but if you compare it to a mechanical watch, this is a 12 or 24 hour dial watch, a chronograph, a minute repeater, an alarm, a countdown timer, a perpetual calendar that also has on-demand loom. And it's also obviously very simple. I mean, it's a wristwatch. It's meant to be used very quickly, but just being able to push through these 5 different little menus, one of them being the time, obviously, I think is really cool and charming to have something on your wrist, especially now that it can liberate you from your phone, even if it's in the tiniest bit. I really like to be able to set an alarm for a certain time, or to set a timer, or, you know, the stopwatch and stuff like that. That I really like. It's very simple, but I get a ton of enjoyment out of that. Not to mention that I think the actual design of the Casio DW5600, I don't think they've ever came close to a design this good again. Maybe the Casioak as second, but I still don't think that stacks up to the original design whatsoever. But 2, I think the design of the original Casio G-Shock is one of the most infamous watch designs ever. Would you be angry if I said the design of this watch is as infamous as the Royal Oak or the Nautilus? I'm not going to say that just in case you would be mad, but it is a thought. Okay, so finally, point 3, the G-Shock philosophy, which I think I'm just going to go off the freaking rails here, so bear with me. I think, and obviously I feel like this is pretty obviously true, what makes a wristwatch so appealing is that it's a tool first, jewelry second. Like, at the end of the day, it's always a useful tool to have the time on your wrist. That's why watches are so appealing in the first place. It adds a lot of specs and technicals and all the stuff that you can look into, and how accurate is this, and what is this built for, and what does this tool do? And obviously that's why we like watches, and that's why we don't have YouTube channels about gold bracelets specifically. But what I really like is a tool that can literally do everything. And I feel like when it comes to a watch that can do that, a G-Shock is basically in a league of its own. Obviously, I'm excluding wearing this watch as a dress watch or to any fancy locations. That it can't do that. Actually, it does that horribly. But the G-Shock can get bashed around. You could swim with it. You can dive into the water with it. You can literally do whatever you want with it, which to me adds another layer of this is a really cool thing to wear. It's literally the only watch I don't have to think about no matter what, because even if I manage to break it, I can just get another one for $50. But the thing with G-Shock is I can't manage to break it. I'm sure if I took a hammer to it as hard as I could, it would break. But from day to day, I've done everything in this watch for 5 years, and nothing has broken or died, not even the battery, still going strong. And don't get me wrong, I really do want a Rolex Oyster Perpetual, dead simple, time-only Rolex that I can wear as my beater watch. No matter how much I treat my Rolex as a beater, I will still always be nervous to mow the lawn or to go swim. I will swim with it, I will get it wet, but I'll always think about it a little bit more than I want to. And the beauty of a G-Shock, at least for me, is that it is this really cool tool that I can think about when I want to think about it. I can go to the bottom of a lake and be like, wow, look, it works. And then if I don't want to think about it, it doesn't matter. I will literally stand on the shoreline of a beach, take it off, and throw it back to my towel if for some reason I don't want to wear it. And that's a beauty I don't think you can get with any other watch besides a G-Shock. Maybe a Casio, maybe, an off-brand G-Shock or something like that. But that's right there. That's the beauty. And that's why I think we should all get G-Shocks. You, me, the rest of you, meet me at Macy's at 5 p.m. Let's buy some G-Shock. Quick question for all of you. I love G-Shock and Seiko and watches that are cheaper than what we usually talk about. Do any of you want to talk about them? Let me know. If you want to stick to just more luxurious, higher price watches too, that's fine. Either way, it doesn't bother me. As long as I don't get fired, it's good. That's what I say every morning. Well, thank God, another day not fired.